So the teams preparing to come out, led by their captains, Crystal Rotter of New Zealand, Emily Rudge of England, both with experience of previous World Cups, stepping out into what's turning to an absolute cauldron here in York tonight. We will get the national anthems of both sides. We will also mark the fact it's been Remembrance Weekend here in the UK as well. And you can only imagine how these players are feeling. The biggest game of the tournament for both so far, looking to earn their place in the final against Australia on Saturday. Australia already through, having beaten Papua New Guinea a little earlier here this afternoon by 82 points to 0. We expect this game to maybe be a little more competitive than what we saw in the first semi-final. So the sides line up. The coaches are in place.
Today, we commemorate armistice and pay tribute to the NZL contribution during World War I.
And we will get ready for a wreath laying and a minute's silence, led by Carrie Roberts in the centre there, Sergeant Carrie Roberts, Staff Sergeant Carrie Roberts of the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, of course, the England player as well, joined by Private Julia Robinson from the Australian Army, again in the Jillaroos squad. With her is Roswitha Kaupo, the player from Papua New Guinea Orchids, and Howie Tamatai, MBE, the NZRL president, also Karen Morehouse from the Rugby League World Cup board member.
For those in the Rugby League family,
We will now observe a minute's silence.
who have served or sacrificed for their country. This will start and end on the referee's whistle.
The minute's silence to commemorate Armistice Day, observed here ahead of the Women's Rugby League World Cup semi-final. Still to come ahead of kick-off will, of course, be the national anthems of both sides, England and New Zealand.
Performed by Kieran Rayner.
The roar tells you everything. We are ready for this World Cup semi-final, England against New Zealand. And for the final time, certainly at York, we will get to see the New Zealand haka, that sign of intimidation. We will see the England side lined up, facing down what's to come at them, but led probably by Maya Hill-Moana. The New Zealand players will lay down their sign of intent for this evening's match. Maya Hill-Moana worried she wouldn't be fierce enough leading the haka for New Zealand. I don't think she had anything to worry about. Certainly England facing it down in their huddle don't look fazed by what they've just witnessed at all. We will see how things go from the kickoff. To the final huddle for England. New Zealand going through a little bit of a warm-up while we wait for this game to get going. So let's have a look at how the sides line up then for this evening. Starting with England, Vicky Molyneux coming back into the second row after missing the game against Papua New Guinea. Holly Dodd drops to the bench as a result. Tara Stanley stays in the centres. She scored 6 tries from there in this tournament so far. For New Zealand, a few changes for them. Madison Bartlett and Charlotte Scanlon come back into the 17 after missing the defeat by Australia. Halfback Racine McGregor is one to watch. Her kicking game could be crucial for the Kiwi Ferns. And Amber Paris Hall has been in great form in the pack. The referee for this evening's game is Casey Badger of Australia, taking charge of this semi-final. The video referee, should we need him, will be Grant Atkins. And now it's England just going through their final trots through the warm-up as it's New Zealand's turn to stand in a huddle. Quite a lot of formalities to get through ahead of kick-off, so both sides just taking an opportunity to make sure they're exactly how they want to be ahead of this game. The biggest game of the tournament so far, as we just get the 13 seconds of one game together, which has been observed right throughout the tournament, both men and women's as well. And the crowd on their feet applauding, showing that there is no space for discrimination. And we finally prepare to get this women's semi-final underway. Who will make their own history this evening? Will it be England reaching the final for the first time? Or will it be New Zealand carrying on their record of never failing to get to the last 2 of a World Cup? Faye Gaskin and Andrea Dobson alongside me for this one this evening as the second World Cup semi-final gets underway with New Zealand kicking off. The ball taken by England's Amy Hardcastle inside her own 20, and she drives the ball through to the 10-metre line. A good start, vital here for England, Andrea.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the first couple of sets are crucial to get a good start, get on the front foot, and yeah, they just want to get good field position from this first set and just settle the nerves a little bit.
Driving through, Liv Wood on her own ground, a York player. Brought down and hit hard by New Zealand. Jones adapting half. drive coming through from Vicky Molyneux. She's done so well so far this tournament, Faye.
Oh, Vicky's been outstanding, and I think she's normally a player who goes a bit under the radar just because she's not scoring a lot of tries or making a lot of breaks. The work ethic she has in the middle is outstanding.
Long kick downfield, that's good territorially, picked up safely by Appy Nichols for New Zealand. Another player who's been in fine form in this World Cup for her side. And she plays the ball, and New Zealand start their first set of 6.
Yeah, she certainly is, and that'll be a great battle between her and Fran Goldthorpe at fullback. I think Appy Nichols has just come into this tournament, this last game, and has really shown what a quality player she is.
There'll be battles right across this pitch. There's matchups in the centres. We're looking at the size of Amy Hardcastle for England and Melly Hefanga for New Zealand. Both can cause a lot of damage, as we see the forwards doing similar for New Zealand.
Yeah, absolutely. This, you know, the right edge of New Zealand, which we're going to now, will really test this left edge of England, and it'll be a real battle.
Hall starting as she means to go on there with a huge carry. Emily Rudge put on her backside as a result of that collision, as the kick comes downfield from Racine McGregor. Underneath it is Tara Stanley. It goes backwards, so that's safe possession in the end, but England losing a few metres as a result.
Yeah, that won't matter. It's gone backwards. It's interesting to see Tara Stanley dropping back for the kicks, even though she's playing at centre, and Caitlin Beaver's not going back, but yeah, not the worst end to that.
Tara Stanley more familiar at full-back, been playing centre though for England. And it's England now driving forward again. Big hit coming in there. I think you felt that one, Faye.
Amber Hall, she's just phenomenal for a back rower. The hit she gives and the runs, I think it'd be a really great battle, her versus Emily Rudge tonight.
Hall sniffing around again there for the tackle, not needed that time, so she just trots back and joins her defensive line. Jodie Cunningham, sporting a beautiful black eye, picked up against Papua New Guinea. Two, I think. And this is the last of the set for England. Appy Nichols having to backpedal with that. Oh, makes a mistake as well. Just manages to keep it in play, does she? And England scoot up, try and grab that ball. And I think that might have been knocked forward somewhere there.
Yeah, and that's a great kick under pressure. The Kiwis won't be used to this surface, this moisture on the surface as well, so that's probably a tactic from England today. I think we'll see a few balls along the floor trying to put them under pressure, and what a great field position now for England.
So let's see what England can do. The first time either side have had territory in their opposing 20. And Shona Hoyle just looking for a ball. There's no ball on the pitch. There we go, there's one now. And Hoyle plays it, and it's away. And driving through is Cunningham. Hall in there again with a tackle for New Zealand. Jones at acting half. 10 metres out for England. Courtney Winfield-Hill gives it to Rudge. Drives forward. Strong run from the England captain. Great defence from the New Zealand players. Here's Jones again. Courtney Winfield-Hill along the line. Step coming from Cunningham. Brought down by her opposing number, Georgia Hale. England still pushing at that line, not making too many metres deep, but that's a good wide ball to Goldthorpe. Goldthorpe's in! First blood to England in the semi-final. They go ahead against New Zealand. Fran Goldthorpe with the try.
Yeah, an outstanding try there from Fran, but a really good team try. We shift to the left-hand edge, and then Jodie just settles us back in with a drive up the middle, and I think Fran really straightens up well. It was a 3v1 on that edge then, and she backed herself any day there.
Oh, first opportunity came about from the kick from Georgia Roach. Great bit of skill across the floor, puts Appy Nichols under some pressure. First opportunity in attacking position and over for forward. Brilliant try from Fran Goldthorpe, and that'll really settle the nerves. Probably settle our nerves as well, to be honest. Sharon said she was nervous.
Yeah, that's made me worse, I'll be honest. Fran Goldthorpe hitting a great line there with that ball and turning Bartlett to go through, and a nod there and a thumbs up from the England coach Craig Richards.
I think if you watch that back, the way Georgia Roach turns her hips to hold them two defenders up, she can hit a drop-off ball there or go herself. She's the one who actually tracks two defenders, which gives Fran an out the back just a field day to run that in.
It'll be important as well for England to do things like that if they're going to keep the crowd in this game, because the crowd have got a part to play this evening.
Oh, of course, they haven't. What an unbelievable crowd. That, you know, this is certainly going to be, it has to be a record for a women's rugby league match. And you know how many kids and people are sat in this crowd watching this England team and can be inspired.
to Tara Stanley, preparing to kick on what is her home ground as well, another player from York. And that is good. The 2 is added by Tara Stanley, giving England that 6-0 lead. As we see the try again, Georgia Roach instrumental in the build-up.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think she'll do that all day. Not only has she got a great kicking game where they got that set of 6 in the New Zealand half, but she also runs at the line. She's a running threat for England.
That was Tara Stanley's 19th goal of the World Cup as the kicker again goes long and into the arms of Amy Hardcastle for England. New Zealand were looking for a response here.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think New Zealand are quite a patient team. They had to battle quite hard with Australia to come back for a really close scoreline, so I don't think they'll feel too much pressure from that, because that's just how the New Zealand act to a try.
England beating Papua New Guinea to finish top of their group. New Zealand runners-up in theirs after that immense battle, just 10 points to 8 it was last week against Australia in Group B. A set restart given as well. England with 6 more tackles. The referee spotting an infringement at the play of the ball. Here we go with Shona Hoyle driving through. Just outside the New Zealand 40.
Yeah, some good work already by Jodie Cunningham. Probably, you know, 6 or 7 carries already down that middle, and brave carries as well. It's early on.
Some big hits coming in from the New Zealand defence. The ball played to Jones. Away to Roach. She's got runners. Gives it to Wood. Wood brought down just outside the 30. New Zealand half of the field. Roach again looking for the gaps on the right-hand side as Tara Stanley takes it with that step. Tries to come back inside. She is met by the defence. Bartlett in there with the tackle. Also Paige McGregor. This is the last for England. Roach with a grubber kick through. Bounces straight into the arms of Appy Nichols. And Nichols just hauled down on the 10.
Yeah, and another good set and another opportunity in field position to put the pressure on this Kiwi side.
And the ball comes loose. New Zealand just been given a 6 again with a set restart. It pops up. It's a knock-on coming from Mele Hufanga, giving England possession again, 20 metres away from that line. England have to capitalise on these errors because New Zealand will at some point settle.
Yeah, and again that comes from great defence, a great under the ball shot from Emily Rudge there, just dislodging that in. They'll keep growing in confidence, but yeah, the Kiwis will come back at some point, but just keep applying the pressure, keep turning it over, and the most important thing is to take the opportunities when we get them.
We saw the England reserves there, the substitutes bench applauding at that error as England now take the ball away from the scrum. Good ball to Beavers, takes it from Goldthorpe, and Beavers tries to drive her way forward. 10 metres away from the line. Again, it's Roach keeping it moving to Wood. The forwards trying to do the donkey work early in the set, taking play to within 5 metres of the line. Jones again. Here's Winfield Hill to Hardcastle. There is space. She won't be able to get round Hufanga. That'll be a battle between those two this evening in the centres as Courtney Winfield Hill takes the ball quickly, tries to go herself, gains a few extra metres before being wrestled to the ground. And she plays
mismatch.
Yeah, just a little. Plays the ball across the middle of the field to Cunningham. A little bit of a lack of understanding there maybe with Shona Hoyle. Cunningham held on to it, and this is the last of the set for England. The ball goes out and away again to Roach. Takes it herself, tries to put the ball through. It goes to ground. New Zealand survive.
Yeah, it's a great option there, George. They know George is a running threat now. I think if you look a few plays earlier, they had numbers on him again. So I think if they just keep attacking that right edge, if it's working, don't change it.
Another set restart indicated by the referee, the hoot you can hear in the background, giving them another set of 6. Let's get some early news then from the sidelines this evening. Let's go down and join Jenna Brooks.
Yeah, evening, Sharon. A cracking start from England, isn't it? Just a reminder to everyone that New Zealand side have a host of NRLW players in it. The NRLW, their games only last 70 minutes. Of course, Super League over here in the UK, 80 minutes. So I've spoken to a few of the players, asked them how much of an impact that can have on recovery and also during the game. And both sides have said, yeah, it can have a huge impact. So let's hope England can keep up this pace.
Winfield Hill offloads to Hardcastle, who can't take the ball. Hale drops on it gratefully for New Zealand. And it's the Kiwi Ferns with the possession to come away from their own line.
Yeah, look at that. I think if Amy got a clean catch on that ball, she probably would have got through there and have been a real challenge to stop. But yeah, just wipe it out and go again.
So New Zealand trying to launch their first real attack of this game so far. England with that 6-0 advantage. Here's Clark. Takes the ball in. 3-4 England players in there, looking for the offload. Couldn't get that ball out. Moving it along the line. New Zealand trying to find a way down their left-hand channels. Good work coming in from Georgia Roach, helping out the forwards. Just that extra hand in there for the tackle. But New Zealand with that possession, centre of the field, keeping it moving to Hall. Hall's got support. Great hands to Afanga. Afanga's got support as well from Viacolo. Steps back inside. Great work from Leah Burke, forcing the offload. It's Appy Nichols still with the ball though. New Zealand still with that momentum. England eventually halting that attack. New Zealand looking dangerous when they tried to break there down their right. This is the last of the set. They bring it back towards their right. It's McGregor with the kick. Back there is Goldthorpe. Takes it cleanly for England, and the defence, the chase is good.
Yeah, great scramble there from England. Great cover tackles as well, and to shut that down from Leah Burke. And that's all they've got to do in defence, England. They've just got to be patient with it. Just, you know, just don't try anything individual, shoot out. Just keep your line, keep your patience, and they'll contain him.
New Zealand have got a big pack. They're a mobile pack as well. So how important is it, Faye, that England try and keep that possession and maybe wear them out a bit with the defence?
Yeah, absolutely. I think looking at England, this is probably the best defence they've had. They've got 2 or 3 players in, lifting that leg, landing on top, and they're making the Kiwi Ferns fight to get up. So I think if England keep that up with a big pack, England will have that.
Charge down kick there from Georgia Roach. Back there covering it is Courtney Winfield Hill. Clark fancied her chances. She's got pace as well for a forward. But England get that ball back.
I think that's a second high shot that's not been called up. Great pressure though from Brianna Clark, just to put the pressure on the kick from Georgia Roach there and put England on the back foot and a little bit under pressure. But again, they've just got to go through the gears, carry the ball out and complete the sets.
Jodie Cunningham brought down on her own 40. New Zealand tackling well. Molyneux goes for the line, tries the hand off, but the defender almost just danced around her there to avoid making that contact before the tackle. And it's back with Roach, putting a higher kick in this time. That'll be a test for Appy Nichols, who passes it with flying colours and comes through to just outside her own 30 as New Zealand try and regain territory. So just see again, was that a late shot on Roach?
I think it was good kick pressure. I don't think it was too late in the...
Amber Hall doing what Amber Hall does, and that was a messy play of the ball. What will the referee give? A penalty. She says there was interference coming in there from Shona Hoyle, and this will piggyback New Zealand upfield and give them some of the best territory they've had in the game so far. We see again what a run from Hall. She takes some stopping.
Yeah, she does, and I think Courtney Winfield Hill's just got to get a body in front there and get hold of anything she can, which she did, and rode the tackle. But yeah, she's a big running threat, and she'll cause trouble when she gets the ball.
Plays big minutes as well. Nua Sala now going forward for New Zealand. Some quality forwards for the Kiwi Ferns, taking play to just outside the 30, moving it along the line to Clark. Plays at prop, runs like a second row. Brought down by England, who now are having that defence tested properly for the first time in this game. McGregor keeps it moving to Nichols. Out wide to Varcolo, does well to take that, steps inside, almost gets around Courtney Winfield Hill. Helped out by Amy Hardcastle. England defend.
What a take that was as well, out of the air. Great skill on show.
Looked like it was going into touch for all the world as Nua Sala goes forward again. New Zealand 10 metres out, putting pressure on the England line for the first time in this match. They trail 6 points to 0. McGregor can't take that though. Just breaks down their momentum, but here's Hall again, walks straight over the top of Hardcastle. She's got the support as England's defence there. New Zealand think they've scored. Afanga thinks she's scored. The referee points to the spot. New Zealand have scored. First try of the evening for them, 6-4.
Yeah, pretty much out of nothing. We've already said how how good Amber Hall is, and the big, strong, powerful runner. Amy Hardcastle's got to go lower there. Just, you know, upper body bump off. She's used to doing that all day herself, but yeah, got to go lower on her. But you know, credit to Amber Hall, a big carry and a good support player there to get over.
Yeah, I think we talk about patience quite a lot, and that's what New Zealand have been in this competition. But it, like Andrew said, come from nothing, and a bit of a scrappy play really goes over the top of Racy McGregor's hands. And I thought we might have seen a kick from Amber Hall, but she just backed herself in a big palm off. And I give credit to Leah Burt there. She tries her hardest to get back and get on that ball, and Amber Hall just draws that full back, and it's a great finish in the end for New Zealand.
And the handoff there that she gave to Amy Hardcastle, I'm not sure how much Hardcastle knew about that. Her finger going sliding in.
Yeah, I think she just got it a little bit wrong in that. You've got to go a little bit low when somebody's big. You don't want to bump off, and she'll learn from that, and hopefully it won't happen again.
Melly Hafanga making her Kiwi debut in this tournament, scoring 2 tries on that debut against Cook Islands in the group stages. That's her 3rd try of the tournament. And with the kicking duties this evening is Brianna Clark.
On for Vossi. He loves a kicking front rower.
She's not got a bad record either so far in this World Cup this year. And commentators turn.
I've stopped commenting on the kickers.
So nothing added there as far as the extras are concerned. England still with that 2-point lead. And New Zealand doing well there to pick up that ball that McGregor just couldn't take cleanly to build from there.
Yeah, I think, you know, this set will be a big test now for England. Deep kick, put pressure on. New Zealand will want a good repeat set, and I think England will just be a little bit disappointed with that. It's almost a sloppy try to concede.
I think the emotions we saw there from the coach, Ricky Henry, and then Holly Dodd and Grace Field of England on the sideline summed up exactly probably how the sets of fans are feeling in this stadium as well. As we prepare to get going once more, Tara Stanley will take the kick-off for England. How will England react? Long, high, spinning kick taken well by McGregor. And Nuasala takes the first carry for New Zealand, and it's a strong one as well. Plays the ball to Rotter, moves it along the line, back to Clark. And New Zealand now just getting a bit of a roll on, starting to gain metres after that initial contact in the tackle. They're just starting to gain 2 or 3 metres after that. There's half a break comes through there. England having to really close that down.
Yeah, they're big metres after 3 tackles, 3 carries and over halfway. And I think if England are going to have some more joy, they're going to have to slow these play the balls down and get these players on the back and slow it down and control it a little bit more.
Georgia Hale gaining 2 or 3 more metres as well inside that England half of the field. This will be the last, though, for New Zealand. And that looks like it'll be Crystal Rotter just going down with the ball. This is the last. The referee's arm goes up now. Sure, she raised it before, but anyway, miscounted. This is the last for New Zealand. Chip over the top from Racy McGregor, taken by Hafanga. Oh, what a take! What a take by Varcolo! As she got to the line. Great work from England.
Yeah, great scramble defence there from England, and I think this is the favoured side for New Zealand, this right-hand edge. They've got Racy McGregor here, Amber Hall, they're looking for danger, but what a beautiful kick that was, set up nice on a plate, and great offload to catch and pass that, but here, Fran Gulthorpe puts her body on the line and a great stop.
Yeah, what a recovery from Leah Burke as well, misses the initial tackle, but gets up and gets across to help her mate out. And stop the try, great cover tackle, but what skill on show from New Zealand, and the pick up and the tip on, and again the winger on that edge is just picking the balls out of the air, some awful passes to her, and she's just gathering them.
Sigh of relief from Paige Travis on the sidelines, just as a bit of attention given to Fran Gulthorpe. It looks like she's got glue on her hands, doesn't it, the winger Caitlin Varcolo? The way she's just scooping some of those balls in, it's almost defying gravity.
Go gadget arms.
Yeah, she's been unbelievable, to be fair. 2 great takes, but 19 minutes gone, it's a semi-final, England versus New Zealand. This is what the game's all about, this little skill here and a great catch, and like Andrea said, full raps for Leah Burt for getting back there, because she'd have your money on it, she was going to score that.
So we get started then with England with the ball on their own 10. Cunningham tries to drive forward.
I mean, I'm not a winger, but I'd have probably put my head down and tried to slide over in the corner there. But yeah, again, great cover.
Amy Hardcastle with a strong run. The crowd showing their appreciation for that one. As now it's Burke up the centre of the field. Oh, met by Hall, who's everywhere, absolutely everywhere so far for New Zealand is Hall.
Yeah, she was their big player for the match against the Australians, but you know, you make her do repeat efforts, you keep running at her, you keep getting her to get up and down off the floor, and those repeats efforts, and she'll tire, there'll be some gaps.
Winfield Hill offloads to Molyneux. England still inside their own 40. The arm goes up from the referee as Winfield Hill kicks downfield again, straight into the arms of Appy Nichols, who sets off like a steam train towards that wall of white. England come in with the tackles. We're seeing the England kicking game maybe just not having quite the edge that we've seen in previous matches.
Yeah, and that probably comes down to the defensive set there from New Zealand. They've really restricted England to 30-40 metres. The kick's under pressure and they're receiving it, and on the first carry getting back to halfway. So, yeah, it's probably credit to the defence there.
Big effort there from the England defence. Crystal Rotter standing up, having knocked that ball knocked on. It'll be possession England. And it was Brianna Clark on the ground claiming that was ripped. Crystal Rotter picked it up. The referee having none of that. England's possession. Georgia Roach just almost indicating just to calm down, just signalling to her team as she prepares to put the ball into the scrum. And it's away to Winfield Hill, who finds Hardcastle. Hardcastle runs at that line. Oh, big tackle coming in on Amy Hardcastle. That's turning into such a battle down the right-hand side. Again, Hall in there with the defence for New Zealand. But there's some big players in more than one sense of the word down the England left, the New Zealand right. That's going to be a tussle all night.
Yeah, it isn't a great tackle there. Nice and low around the ankles, and that's how you stop Amy Hardcastle. But, you know, she did well, rode the tackle, and we've got to quick play the ball.
And a set restart as well, a 6 again for England. There goes Vicky Whitfield, who was in fine form against Papua New Guinea in that final group game. Into the 40 now, England, with Jones at acting half. To Roach, runs at the line, nice timing there to Cunningham. Well seen by Abigail Roach of New Zealand. Bit of a stutter, eventually Whitfield gets that ball again. And England push towards the Kiwi Ferns 10-metre line. Winfield Hill to Goldthorpe, has support. Good run there, straightened up from Emily Rudge. Good, valuable few metres made by the England captain. On to the last for England. Winfield Hill, kick goes through, and the space. Winfield Hill chases. Has she got that ball down? No, says the referee. The ball's been knocked on, but Winfield Hill trying something a bit different there.
Yeah, now Nichols a bit too calm and collected for me at that back. She was almost rolling that over the line, but a clever kick from Courtney Winfield Hill, and yeah, just a little bit too long.
And the ball going dead. Must be ruled that it came off the legs of Appy Nichols there, meaning a dropout. Another chance for England, Faith.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think England got a bit of nerves after that first try for New Zealand, but now they're growing back in confidence and they're ready to attack in that half.
Shona Hoyle doing well to hang on to that ball. There was a collective gasp around the stadium as she juggled with that before she got it to stick. So here we go again then with England, with Jones. Goes from acting half, brings play to 10 metres away from the line. Here's Winfield Hill. To the centre of the field with Cunningham, to Whitfield. Bit of a standing start from Whitfield. And here's Jones again. Offloads. England running at the angles. New Zealand tackling hard, tackling firm, keeping their line intact. Jones to Winfield Hill. Not the best of passes. England losing a bit of ground as a result. Hardcastle making sure, but losing ground. And this is the last. Winfield Hill under pressure with the kick. Nichols takes it safely. And a tap restart comes for New Zealand.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the plan was in that set. I think they, they got to a point they were set very early on the first 2 tackles, and I think they could have played on that right edge and gone for it. But yeah, they seem to have stuck it down the middle and not a great end to the set.
Almost that loose pass going back, and the fact they lost ground, it just threw them, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, and full wraps to New Zealand. The pressure put on Amy Hardcastle there, and then Courtney under pressure to kick that ball. They deserve where they've started this ball now, but England have just got to go back calm. We've seen Georgia Roach tell the team to calm down before, and they'll grow in confidence as the game goes on.
Roxy Murdoch driving through. Roxy Murdoch-Masilla, familiar in the Women's Super League in England, having had spells with St Helens and Warrington. And now it's Hall. Here we go again. Space out wide for Varcolo. She's got support on the inside. Finds Safanga. Great work coming in from England. What a tackle from the England defence. But work to do now for the Lionesses. New Zealand pushing 10 metres away. Hale straightens up, tries to drive forward. England catch their breath. The ball will be played to Rotta. The referee signals this is the last. Out along the line to Roach. Keeps it moving. Oh, another great take coming in from Bartlett. Puts the grubber kick through. Dropped on by England. England take the ball and the possession. Great work in defence from England.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen before that cover tackle for Emily Rudge. They're the things what go unnoticed often, and it's always Emily Rudge who's in on them. But you can see here that break, and you just see next minute Emily Rudge comes across, and she worked hard there to save that try.
So as England come forward, a word for the attacking play on the right-hand side coming from New Zealand. They're on fire. But it's England now with Hardcastle. Brought down just inside her own 30. Bennett on from the subs bench at acting half. And Grace Field also on as well. Fresh legs for England. This is the last of the set. Still inside their own 40. The ball goes back to Georgia Roach, who puts the kick in long. Again, taken cleanly by Appy Nichols. And she's met on the 40.
Yeah, after that one error from Appy Nichols early on, she's been solid under the ball. I think being picky, Georgia Roach has got to find some grass there, has got to get that ball into space and just let a team get up the field a bit and put more pressure on. But great takes from Appy Nichols.
New Zealand really finding the feet now in this game. Paige McGregor going forward, looked like she was trying to offload that. Nobody was there on her outside, so had to take the tackle, had no option there. And now it's Rotta to Hale. Big hit coming in from Field. Hale brought to ground, and I believe will be playing her rugby league in England next season. As New Zealand carry through with Rotta, again she looks for support. England having to scramble slightly there in defence. And offside, says the referee. It just looked a bit ragged.
Was it a ball steal or were they offside?
I think Kira Bennett was offside. She didn't get back 10, but it's getting tough now for England. But what they've got to do is just ride the storm. There was 4 New Zealand players not back behind the ball when Appy Nichols caught that ball from the kick. So they're starting to tire, and this is where England's strength and conditioning and the fitness come into play.
Nita Maynard on off the bench as well for New Zealand as they try and attack and shift the ball wide again to try and find the gaps. Poulet hold down just before the line. England being tested, New Zealand pushing. Great work coming in from England. What a great push from that goal line defence. Set restart though indicated by the referee. Another set of 6 for New Zealand, 10 metres out. And offside as well, a penalty now given. The crowd don't like that here at York. You can hear the boos ringing around the community stadium. Apparently Shona Hoyle not able to hear the whistle, but either way New Zealand have that possession. 6 more tackles, pushing that England line. Here we go, moving out towards the right where they've had so much joy so far. Hall, she'll take some stopping. England do that though. The tackle complete. McGregor at acting half, takes it herself. She got that ball down, she's stretched out. The referee will go to the video referee on this one. Let's see if Racine McGregor is successful. A try is given on the field, but it will come down to the decision of Grant Atkins, the video referee.
Video referee to match director, we've got a live decision of try. Can we just see all available angles to confirm that the ball was grounded rather than a double movement? If I can get another angle on that, I can see the ball is grounded. Just need to see where it's grounded first and whether possession's maintained. Have we got any other available angles on that? So it's in a right hand. The left hand keeps possession and momentum gets it to the goal line where the ball is on the line. Thank you. I'm happy I viewed all available angles and I have a decision.
So the ground collectively holding its breath at the ground. And Racine McGregor's try stands. New Zealand take the lead for this first time in this World Cup semi-final with the kick to come. 8 points to 6.
Yeah. Well, great finish there as well, you know, under pressure, and Leah Burke's flown across again and nearly a try saver, but a great tackle there. And, you know, I think just from watching this, I think they're giving this right edge a little rest, so they're going left for a few sets, and then this right edge is their strike. They're coming after they've had a little rest, and yeah, I think Courtney Winfield Hill's going to have a tough day on this left edge with these women running at her.
Racine McGregor, the Dally M medalist, the Woman of Steel equivalent of the NRLW, as Appy Nichols takes over the kicking duties for New Zealand, and it bounces off the post. So just that 2-point advantage in what's been a real arm wrestle of the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, those 2 kicks might become important towards the end of this game.
We've said that quite a bit throughout the tournament between the 3 of us in the games that we've seen, how important the kicking can be. Tonight, the way it started, it will be a tight game, it will be a tense game, everything will be crucial.
Yeah, absolutely, and when we look back to New Zealand versus Australia, them kicks come into play again, and unfortunately New Zealand was on the losing side of that, but this is semi-final football, and this is what we want to see, a good, close, competitive game. I do still think England have got everything to give here. They've just got to go back to being composed.
So New Zealand take the kick-off, and a big run coming forward as well to test that England defence, who drive New Zealand back inside their own 20. It's the 3rd time these 2 sides have met in a semi-final at the World Cup, the last time back in 2017.
We don't need to say that score, do we, Sharon?
on that occasion, it was a record defeat for England. I won't go any further just yet, because I know, Faye, you were part of that England side that suffered that defeat. England certainly hoping for something different this evening. Like we said, it will move on. We'll move on.
I think it was the heat.
It was hot. It was hot.
So England having to defend. Grace Field in there with the tackle. New Zealand trying to push forward. Set restart, and I think that was on the last as well.
Yeah, I think the difference in the packs at the minute is the ruck speed, and the Kiwis are landing on the front, or they're not being taken to ground. They're stood up, and they're getting 3 or 4 in the tackle, but they're not controlling them, whereas the Kiwis are controlling our pack a little bit more.
Maynard acting half to Hale. To McGregor. Here we go again with Hall. Big boom as Hall collides with the defence that comes forward from England. And Nita Maynard takes it from acting half. Offloads towards her left to Hill Moana. Maynard, a small player, but makes such an impact when she comes on off the bench for New Zealand. Takes it herself before offloading to Roach. Keeps it moving out wide. Here we go again with space round the edges for New Zealand. It's Bartlett, still going, still driving towards the line. England having to work hard. This is the last of the set for New Zealand. Will they extend their lead? It goes back to Racine McGregor. Puts the grubber kick through, taken beautifully by Amy Hardcastle, and England come up with the ball.
Yeah, well picked up there.
Yeah, it was a great cover defence there on that right-hand edge. I think England looked to overload this left-hand edge to cover that Amber Hall run, so the right-hand edge of England really had to shift hard, but we're respecting McGregor too much. You've got to put pressure on her as a kicker.
So England driving forward. New Zealand slower out of the blocks at the start of this first half than what England were. England taking advantage to get that try from Fran Goldthorpe. Since then, New Zealand probably just starting to edge things. And certainly with 2 tries to England's 1.
Go on, Joe.
So here we go, Jodie Cunningham. Half a gap for her, not held yet. Just takes play outside the 40, but still England inside their own half of the field from that set of 6. The ball goes back to Winfield Hill. The kick comes long downfield. Nichols is under it. Takes it again without any problems. Drives forward up the centre of the field. Winfield Hill is there, helped out as well by a teammate. New Zealand again on the attack.
Yeah, and a better set and a bit of quick play around the ruck there from Jodie Cunningham, and got on the front foot. But again, the kicks are going to hand, and New Zealand are starting their sets on the 40 metres and just putting England under that pressure again.
Crystal Rota, the New Zealand captain, is off the field at the moment for a head injury assessment. Hazafanga goes driving through. Juanita Maynard on off the bench and taking her role in the hooking position.
A great footwork as well, just one-on-one, just little subtle footwork there.
Oh, and here we go with Roach trying to get through as well. Again, the speed of the footwork there, almost opening up a bit of a gap for her, but valuable metres gained. And New Zealand trying to find joy down on their left-hand side now, after having so much on the right. Good work, though, coming in from Vicky Molyneux and Georgia Roach. But New Zealand still looking dangerous. There she goes again. McGregor with the kick. Goes high to the corner. That'll be a tester for Burke. Takes it cleanly. Does so well there, Leah Burke. What great skill. Under pressure as well. And she had to do that.
Yeah, that's outstanding for Leah, and you know she's going to catch them.
And we see again the kick coming in from McGregor, who's causing all sorts of problems with that boot. And we just got a stoppage in play here to see Leah Burke just checking to see where she was as she took off to catch that ball, but it was diffused in goal, so we're fine with the tap, and away we go from the last. So Whitfield, England starting so deep inside their own half. There's no wonder really that they're only getting up to the 40 out of that set of 6. At least this time they started a bit further upfield.
Yeah, and I think that's been the difference. New Zealand have had so many more opportunities in the England 20 than England have, and it is with the end of sets being a little bit better and putting that little bit more pressure on.
Emily Rudge taking play inside the New Zealand half of the field. England really looking to make a few inroads inside this half. Cunningham brought down just inside the 40. Bennett, looping ball, goes out to Roach. Finds Whitfield. Whitfield not having quite as much fun as what she had against Papua New Guinea against the New Zealand defence this evening. Is on the last, the ball goes out wide and the tackle comes in, and it will just be the straightforward handover.
That's a win for England. That's a good finish to the set in the Kiwi half. I think what I want to see is Courtney Hill going at that line. If she attracts Amber Hall at that line and then hits a nice lead line, Emily Rudge through a gap, but we're playing too far away from the Kiwis line at the minute, and we don't need to respect them like that. Get at the line and get in the face, and I think they'll struggle to cope with Emily Rudge and Amy Hardcastle.
So on the flip side now, England be keen to keep New Zealand pinned back in their half of the field. New Zealand really finding the metres. What a take there from Clark, brought down just short of halfway. The ball moved out to Hill Moana. Tries to drive her legs. But Hardcastle and Rudge combine in defence. Maynard, again, centre of the field to Hale. Long ball back to Roach. Keeps it moving to Nichols, and there's a knock-on. There's an error, and it's hacked downfield by England. England get the possession, and because of the hack downfield as well from Georgia Roach, a few more valuable metres gathered as well. Here goes Stanley, trying to get around. The crowd starting to roar again with England with that ball inside the New Zealand half. Molyneux, met by Hall. New Zealand now having to do the work in defence. Whitfield. Extra few metres gained there, got her legs pumping in that tackle. And now it's Roach. Back to the centre, to Winfield Hill. Tries to go towards the line again, a poor ball taken by Amy Hardcastle. No knock-on given. But Amy Hardcastle with work to do to try and just set that platform again for England. 10 metres out from the line, and the referee says that the ball's been knocked on.
Yeah, probably the wrong option again for me for England. I think they're just taking one or two too many in. They're not going to beat the Kiwis down the middle. And, you know, it was on, the shape was there. Courtney Winfield, who was calling for it, should they have gone one earlier? And as Faye's saying, you know, that we're playing a little bit too deep. We need to be playing at the line. We need to be pushing through.
At this stage of the competition, two teams like this, it comes down to fine margins.
Yeah, it does, and I think we talk about 1%ers, and Georgia Roach getting on that ball first to get England into a positive set, and this defensive set from England now's got to be tough. We've got to reduce the metres what New Zealand can gain.
Good work coming in from the defence of Burke and Winfield Hill. As Hafanga goes again, Leah Burke really working wonders against Hafanga, such a strong player up against her.
Yeah, she's been outstanding so far.
And the drive comes up the centre again from Hill Moana for New Zealand. Kira Bennett combining with Cunningham with the tackle, keeping New Zealand for now inside their own 40. Roach, long ball out wide, that's where things look dangerous, but this time the pass goes into touch. Madison Bartlett can't take it, and England just on the hooter, just felt like they were just starting to get a bit of momentum there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think, to be fair, England needed that ball to go into touch because there was a bit of an overlap from New Zealand, but both teams looking really strong. I think the interchange is what come on, you wouldn't even know. It's just a really physical middles game. I think New Zealand was looking a little bit more tired than England, but we've just got to get them 1%ers and attack that line.
So half-time hooter's gone there at York. Half-time scoreline is England 6, New Zealand 8.
Well, another thriller underway in this Women's World Cup. It is New Zealand by the slimmest of margins. They lead 8-6 over host nation England. Corbin Baxter and Millie Boyle. Racine McGregor told the Lionesses, watch out. She was not in the mood after that tight loss from the Aussies, and she has come to play today.
She sure has, and she gets a crucial try to put the Kiwis in front with that textbook show and go from dummy half, which we love to see from her. We know she's got it in her. She's got the classic show and go that puts everybody off, and she's has a great kicking game as well, and we've seen that in this first half.
The reigning Dally-M medalist for the NRLW, helping put New Zealand ahead 8-6 at halftime in York. Now, good morning. If you're just joining us, the great news is Australia are the first women's team through to this World Cup final. Let's go to their coach, Brad Donald, who was with the player of the match.
You know, Em and I didn't know each other before this campaign, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have her in any position. Yep, sure, no worries. Just tell me what to do. We taught, you know, we did some work at hooker. We did some work at, and it's just so happy to see her get player of the match tonight. It's well deserved. The tournament's been excellent, and before you ask me, she'll be playing somewhere in the team come the final. So she'll definitely be in the 17. 7 of the players that didn't play will play, and 10 of the 17 that played tonight will play. So it's, you know, the 7 that miss out, they did a lot of, you know, they played a lot of minutes out there tonight. And look, the connection of this team's something special I haven't seen before. You know, like we've had some close teams. There's a great camaraderie, and there's a great culture around the Jillaroos jumper. But this is honestly one of the best I've seen.
Wholesale change is expected as the Jillaroos they make their way to Manchester. All the highlights coming up from this elimination semi-final to see who will meet the Aussies at Old Trafford. It is New Zealand 8-6 over England. Well, welcome back to your World Cup coverage live and exclusive right here on Fox League. It is the Kiwi Ferns. They lead 2-1 over England. Corbin Baxter and Millie Boyle. New Zealand are battle-hardened. Corbin, this is their second tight contest in about 4 days. How are they holding up?
Yeah, really tight contest. They've had some tough ones, especially coming off Australia last week. But you know, they're looking really good. Amber Paris Hall, she's been so damaging on that right side alongside Mela Hufanga, who got over for the second try of the night. She's just been tearing that left side apart. But it was actually England who got on the point board first with Francesca Goldthorpe. I think Georgia Roach has been a really natural half, creating some space for her outside backs. And yeah, Francesca just getting over for an easy early try, and then Racine McGregor getting over for that third one, just doing what she does best and showing that dummy, as Millie spoke about, and getting over the paint for to put the girls ahead.
It's a lead, but it's not quite enough to be comfortable. You'd imagine that the Kiwis would like a little bit more of a buffer, but Amber Hall, Millie, she absolutely trampled the Gillaroos when they played last week. I think she had 168 metres, 11 tackle breaks and some unbelievable try-saving tucks, and she's back at it, hit after hit.
She is, and she's one of those players that you just do not want to come up against, and she's got it all. She can defend, she can attack, she can pass, and she can play a full 80 minutes. And a player of Amber's size and what she provides on the footy field, she is just shows that she can absolutely mix it with the absolute best. And I love watching her play. She's you know, pulls out passes, and she'll put in a little kick if she needs to. She's definitely done it before, and happy to set up her outside players. I think New Zealand are probably lacking a little bit of structure, and hopefully we get to see a bit more of that in the second half.
Racine, she's a try scorer, but we heard her frustrations coming off that loss to the Aussies, and she said we needed to tidy up. She's a perfectionist by her own standards, and we are just yet to see it all fall into place and have that polish that we would expect of the Kiwi Ferns. For England, you mentioned that they got on the board nice and early. They were up for this contest. But what about in their halves? How are they looking? And especially Georgia Roach, the England 5'8".
Yeah, they're looking really good. They've got some really nice shapes going. I think it's just a little bit of lack of execution in a few scenarios. But they've been really threatening for the Kiwi defence. And it's great to see both Georgia Roach and Courtney Winfield-Hill pairing up really nicely. I think Georgia Roach has just a real natural half game in her. You know, she moves the ball really well. She's got a good kicking game.
Great kicking game,
yeah, she's come up with some nice results to put them in good field position. So I'm excited to see how the second half unfolds for them both, and just want to see the ball in their hands a little bit more.
The footy IQ and the kick selection from England has been super impressive right through this tournament. So could they do the unthinkable and carry the hopes of their entire nation after the men got knocked out? Could it be the England Lionesses that join the Aussies, or do you think the Kiwis go on and win this?
I think it could be. It could go both ways. And just seeing how much England are competing on everything, you saw in that last play, that kick through to dive on that loose ball to then set themselves up to be in a position to score, really shows how much they really want it. You know, they're playing on their home ground. They want to do England proud, and they want to put England on the map for a rugby league. They haven't been the traditional rugby league country following the, you know, rugby union, but they're here to show that they're here to compete, and they can do it with the best.
Quick tip, Corbin?
Oh, I think England up for it, but I think that Kiwis will get the job done.
Oh, we're split right down the middle. It is the New Zealand Kiwi Ferns by the slimmest of margins, 8-6 over England. Who is up for that last spot in this World Cup final available beside Australia? You're watching Fox League.
New Zealand takes their place as well for the start of this second half. England looking to reach their first World Cup final. New Zealand looking to continue their record of having reached every World Cup final in every competition. So the referee, Casey Badger, preparing to get this second half underway. One of these teams is just 40 minutes away from a place in the Women's World Cup final against Australia on Saturday at Old Trafford. Will it be New Zealand? Will it be England? It will all unfold in the next 40 minutes as Tara Stanley kicks off for England to get this second half underway. And a big run comes in as well. Let's get some halftime news though before we go any further. Let's go back and join Jenna Brooks.
Sharon, I spoke to Craig Richards, the head coach of England. He wants the ruck to be quicker. He also mentioned penalties at halftime. I saw him speaking to the ref as the players were coming off the pitch. He spoke to her and asked what they need to do better to cut out the penalties. He believes that they'll be able to do that in this second half. Ricky Henry, the head coach of the Kiwi Ferns, said it's a great game. He says that both teams are throwing it around and he really hopes that it continues in this second half. But of course, he says he is extremely confident that his team can hold on to the lead and win through to Old Trafford on Saturday. Great news for them because their captain, Crystal Roeder, has passed her HIA, her head injury assessment, which is a massive boost for the Ferns.
Thanks, Jenna. The kick comes downfield, missed by Fran Goldthorpe. The chase is on from New Zealand. Back there, though, is Caitlin Beavers for England. And England eventually picked that ball up. That was almost a heart-in-mouth moment for England.
Yeah, it definitely was, and I think England are strong enough to come back from that. It was a great first set from the Kiwis and something England didn't want, but Fran can catch them all day. It is a bit nerve-wracking when the ball's spinning different ways.
So England now trying to battle their way outside the 40. Andrea Dobson and Faye Gaskin alongside me this evening, former England internationals, as Vicky Molyneux tries to drive her way through. Just 2 points in this game. And I think we heard there from Craig Richards, Andrea, some of the points you were making in the first half about just being a bit tighter around the ruck and a bit faster.
Yeah, I think they just need to slow the ruck down when the Kiwis have got the ball and speed it up themselves. I think, you know, marginally, the New Zealand are just doing a bit of a better job at controlling our ruck.
Afanga takes the ball from the kick on the last from England, and here she goes again, driving towards that halfway line. Showing some fine form in the centres for New Zealand. Making a debut just a couple of games ago. Nichols up the middle, running hard and fast, almost catching the England defence. A little bit cold there.
Yeah, quick ruck speed. The markers aren't set. A and B aren't getting set. It's so quick that England are struggling to get back and set.
Quick play the ball as well from Georgia Hale, the referee pulling England back on side. Here's Hall, keeps it going to Hafanga. Good work again coming in on the edges. From England, it's Leah Burke again in there with the tackle. Moana can't take the ball. And England get a sigh of relief. And Kira Bennett rallying the troops as she picks that ball up.
Yeah, again, a great tackle there from Leah Burke, shutting down the play on that right edge. But yeah, again, look where New Zealand started and look where they finished that set. 3, 4 big carries down the field, and now England under pressure.
So the attendance is 7,139 in here this evening. A superb attendance. I think that's probably something like the second highest in the Northern Hemisphere for a women's game. Absolutely superb here for this double header tonight at the LNER Community Stadium. It's absolutely packed. The capacity is only around 8,000, so not many spare seats in here at all this evening. So it's England with the possession. Bennett acting half. Oh, Beavers, nice run there. Was that a high tackle? The referee blows the whistle. Penalty to England.
Yeah, and that's what England have got to do. A quick play the ball there. You know, Beavers ball on the gain line, pushing through, and that's where we'll get New Zealand on the back foot a little bit. Speed up the play the ball.
And that high tackle placed on report as well by the referee. And England find themselves just outside the halfway line, and it's Vicky Whitfield with the first real carry, almost breaking through there. The attempt from Hale just does enough to hang on around the waist of the England forward. Hill Moana with a big hit on Cunningham. 40 metres out for England. Bennett moves it and out and away, finds Hardcastle, who's lifted off her feet in that challenge. And New Zealand still really laying down a marker with their defence. And England having to battle for every metre they're gaining in this set. Courtney Winfield-Hill. Here's Gracefield. Takes on that line, the tackle comes in. This is the last of the set. Pulling New Zealand back on side, the referee. As Roach takes it for England. The kick rebounds off a foot, still on the last. England drop on it with Bennett. And it'll be the handover.
I think for England that was a good attacking set. Not the end they wanted it, but for me they've got to be pushing with more than one person. We're just going single carry drives, and it's easy for New Zealand to defend. If we're having 2 and 3 in them drives, that's when it becomes a difficult chance for New Zealand.
Tara Stanley just pushing up a little bit further towards the centre of the field in defence as New Zealand get going once more. Hale brought to ground.
Make sure you get back. Oh, go one.
And we're out and away with Maynard, finds McGregor. Playing alongside her sister in this final.
Emily, straight out. Amy, make it all
Paige McGregor, the younger of the two.
Go 10 there.
Maynard at in half, goes herself, tricky little run, caught by Hardcastle. And New Zealand being patient, just gradually working that ball up the middle of the field. Hill Moana now. And England having to do the work. We talked about the New Zealand forwards and maybe England trying to tire them out. That has changed as this game has gone on, as New Zealand have just pummeled that England defence a little bit more. Here's a banger again. What a run from her. Great support play coming in from Nichols. England defend well, but Nichols keeps the ball alive. There's space out wide, and New Zealand go in. Pooley, the scorer, and New Zealand extend their lead and put a bit more daylight between themselves and England.
Yeah, what a run from Hufanga there. Great footwork. Dummy and go. Pass to Happy Nichols, but what a pass from Happy Nichols to get the ball out of contact there before her arm hit the floor. And yeah, numbers lining up on this left edge for England and try over in the corner.
You can see her, that battling run for Hufanga. She's just looking for them opportunities. 3 handoffs and Happy Nichols right on the shoulder, but like Angie said, this offload, and there was a cue to score this try, but someone's got to take her, and a great finish there.
The pass that came from Nichols, as it looked like she was going through, was more of a it was a Hail Mary basically, wasn't it? She just chucked that and hooked.
Yeah, and I think this is what the Aussies and the Kiwis have. They just do it so well. They know that the support's going to be there. They know they've got people backing up, and it's almost a pass to hope without looking, but yeah, unbelievable offloading and a great score.
For New Zealand, with the opportunity to convert the try scored by Otessa Pooley of the Sydney Roosters, a powerful second row forward, and showing her strength there as well with that try. So Nichols preparing to take that conversion. She's had a go at one of the tries scored so far. None of the tries converted by New Zealand so far this evening until now. The extra 2 points are added. 14 points to 6. New Zealand lead. They're in command.
Yeah, they are in command at the minute, but there's only 8 points in it. I think we looked at the bench there, and you've got the England girls with their head in the hand. We've just got to rally some confidence up and believe in these girls. They're here to inspire the next generation of rugby league players, and they want to get to that World Cup final, and I still believe they can do it. They've just got to go back to that settled play they were doing in the first half.
So Tara Stanley again getting ready to get this game restarted. England will need to hit back to keep themselves in this game if they're to have any hope of reaching their first ever World Cup final. Tara Stanley then, here we go, long kick downfield.
Yeah.
And that is just what they would have been looking for.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need. A great kick there, putting New Zealand under pressure. We'll get the ball back now in good field position and see if we can get a positive end to it.
So the dropout to come then from underneath the posts. As we see there, the attempt to try and stop it. The chase back comes as well, but no success for New Zealand. The dropout's decent, taken though nicely by England just outside the 40, and the drive comes in from Shona Hoyle. First pressure potentially here of the second half from England. Liv Wood hitting that wall of black, that defensive line of the Kiwi Ferns, trying to keep their line intact. Vicky Molyneux trying to attack on the short side, drawn to the ground. But this is better pressure now from England. Roach, long ball to Winfield Hill. Takes it into the line, takes the tackle that comes in from Hall. Hoyle and Wood back on, both back on off the bench for England. Bennett, long ball, finds Roach, who takes on the line, keeping it moving out wide. Read though by New Zealand, Hafanga in there with a tackle, Goldthorpe tackled. So England swinging it back towards the centre, again a loose ball, picked up beautifully by New Zealand. Quick reaction there coming from the Kiwi Ferns, and New Zealand back with that possession.
Yeah, and a disappointing set for me for England. I think, again, they're getting to a point, they're getting to good field position, and I'm not really sure what the plan is or what they're trying to do. They just seem a little bit lost in that last 10.
Bartlett now taking the play onto the 40 as we see the error that came from England. Scooting out quickly there, Nita Maynard to get that ball. And we just see, again, Paige Travis living every minute on the touchline for England. So New Zealand driving forward now, again inside the England half of the field. A good pushback coming from the defence, but the ball is out and away, and again we've got a break coming from New Zealand. England will have to work, but New Zealand have set themselves up well. 10 metres out from the England line. Again, danger coming from the Kiwi Ferns. Screaming for it in the middle of the field is Maynard. Away to Clark. She spots a gap. She hits the gap. She takes that gap and scores the try for New Zealand. And New Zealand pull away a little further. Great work coming from the Kiwi Ferns.
Brianna Clark will enjoy that front row. 10, 12 metres out, and you know, unfortunately not a hand on her, and I'm not sure what the English defence were doing there. Long pass out, cut 4 or 5 defenders out, and it was a 5-on-3. Probably could have picked a number of New Zealand attackers out there, and yeah, a disappointing end to that for England. But what a run from Hafanga. Great offload from Amber Hall, again under some real pressure, and she's just causing some real problems down that right edge.
Hafanga, for me, has been one of the standouts for New Zealand. To think she only debuted in this World Cup to come up with this performance, but Clark here, she backed herself and untouched under the post. That's disappointed from the England defence there.
Yeah, Tara Stanley needs to stand up there, tackle what's in front of her, go for the ball rather than preempting that it's going in. Yeah, just a walking for Clark.
And an easy conversion attempt as well to come from Appy Nichols. Another 2 points added for New Zealand. 20 points to 6. Craig Richards looks on. As you see again the try that came and the huge gap that absolutely opened for Clark, and she hit it. She knew exactly where she was going. And a great celebration as well from her teammates. They know that try, 50 minutes gone in the game, that with 20 points to 6 up, they know they've just made that mountain a little higher for England to try and climb. Still plenty of time to go for England to try and hit back, but they need to do that sooner rather than later if this game isn't going to slip away from them. Tara Stanley, long kick downfield, taken in goal by New Zealand, and it's Hill Moana on the charge for the Kiwi Ferns. Centre of the field again, here's Clark. Stanley goes low in the tackle. Moved again out towards the edges, looking for space for Poulet. 2, 3 England players in there. She took some stopping before that tackle was called, held by the referee. Here's Maynard at acting half. Centre of the field with Hale. Again, the defenders having to come forward in 2s and 3s as New Zealand hit the halfway line. Clark again, strong running again from the prop forward. And this will be the last of the set for New Zealand. Maynard, was that a fumble? No, says the referee. Goes back to McGregor, a short kick over the top. Taken by England. I was watching Bartlett coming down the wing on the far side. And the ball goes into touch, but the referee giving the penalty, saying the player had been dragged over the whitewash.
Yeah, real let off for England there, to be fair. It was a great kick over the top into space, and again, Leah Burke's done really well to gather that ball, and yeah, a let off as well, dragged into touch.
Yeah, certainly the tackle completed there, and a second tug coming in from Varcolo on the far side, not Bartlett, and and certainly England getting that penalty.
Charlotte, clear it now. Oh, Brianna.
So it's the Lionesses with the ball, still trying to keep alive their dreams of getting to their first ever World Cup final. Comes out to Cunningham, runs hard at the defence. Roach tackles for New Zealand. Jones back on for England as well, as the drive comes forward to take England to the 40.
And hold, Charlotte. Go, 3.
Jones at Acton half. It's moved out with Winfield Hill. And there's Hoyle again up the centre, trying to do some damage. She didn't think she was tackled. The referee believes she was. And so the ball will be played and out and away again to Winfield Hill, who sees the gap. Well caught though by New Zealand. She keeps the ball alive. The referee says no, the tackle was complete. Makes them take it again, play the ball again from Winfield Hill. Now it's Roach with the grubber kick over the top. Again, safely taking it is Nichols. Tries to come forward, and other than that mistake in the first minute or so of the game, she's not missed a trick.
Yeah, that's what we want to see more of from Courtney Winfield Hill. Going forward, taking on the line, doing what she does best in, you know, a half break, and you know, it'll come. We just need bodies inside, outside of her and pushing through the line, but loads better attack from England, and just see how they contain these Kiwis now.
Quick scoot again from Acting half, from Maynard. Good drive, and as she tries to offload, there's the error. There's a knock-on from New Zealand. How key will this be for England?
Yeah, but massively important, and that came from good pressure there. Big driving contact, Jodie Cunningham, Holly Dodds tried to offload it, and that's a real reward for England, and good pressure. I think they've still got to be a bit smarter for me in the last 20-30 of the pitch, and just get some better ends to sets. But yeah, great field position and a great opportunity.
So we see the metres gain there. New Zealand really pulling out with the distance they've managed to make in comparison to England, and a big total as well, 1,000 metres, 639 for England, as the ball is away from the scrum, and it finds Amy Hardcastle, who tries to charge forward like a juggernaut down the centres. The defence is there with the tackle. Winfield Hill again trying to pull strings as Rudge goes forward. And play now just outside that 20-metre area. There's Jones. Away again to Hardcastle. Comes back inside, just no room really to work. England.
Wrong option there. I don't really understand what they're doing. The set up, the ball needs to go. They need to attack this line.
Roach offloads to Cunningham. Hugged by Charlotte Scanlon. And a bit of a mess there. The referee just halts things and just makes the ball being played again as Roach takes it. Lots of that short ball as well. A few metres gained, but this is the last of the set for England. Here we go on the short side with Roach. Roach Van Stanley, who can't take the pass. New Zealand come up with it. And you can't help but feel that there wasn't going to be the space, because New Zealand had numbers there, but that would have been a good chance.
Yeah, it would, and I think the play before, we missed an opportunity. We hit Holly Dodd on a nice line, but there was actually a 3v2. If we'd have hit Fran out the back, we'd have had a 3v2, and I think Georgia Roach, when she's running more with the ball, it's becoming a threat to New Zealand, and that's what we want to see. I think that's what the supporters want to see. Our halfbacks are the two best in the country. The standout halfbacks, the more they run, I think the more pressure on the New Zealand line.
Well, Paige Travis on the touchline is living this game minute by minute, looking absolutely agonised every time we see her. Just, if there's a vision of anxiety, Paige Travis is it. So New Zealand then trying to give the ball a bit of air, bit of space as well. Varcola breaks down the wing. England have to shuffle across and gather. They do the job, but the ball picked up by Hufanga. They lose a few metres to New Zealand, but they're still moving that ball with pace.
Yeah, again, great cover from Leah Burke. She certainly saved some tries on that right edge, and again Amber Hall with a massive run.
Amber Hall, incredible. She'd made 82 tackles across the last 3 games. Be interesting to see the stats on that one this evening for her as well, as Caitlin Beavers does very well with that high ball there. Another player adept at full-back, as we see again. What a drive and a hit coming in from Amber Hall. She's doing her nation proud this evening in that black shirt. Tara Jones, good night.
I think you've just got to be a bit of a speed bump when Amber Hall comes running at you, and that's what Tara was then. She just puts her body there and she takes a whack, but she's the first one to get back up.
So penalty for England, New Zealand caught offside.
Here with me, with me.
And England get the extra yards as a result. Almost chance for them to take a breath as well before they get going again. Holly Dodd goes with one leg, the other leg removed from underneath her by Clark. And now it's Winfield Hill. Long ball. There's Hardcastle, comes back inside. The New Zealand defence are quite impressive, the way they're just cutting off anything out wide for England this evening.
Yeah, and I think for me that's the go-to. They've really shut Amy Hardcastle out of the game. They've really put pressure on Courtney Winfield Hill, and that for me is the game plan for New Zealand, to cut those players out of the game. And when it comes to the attack, they're just shutting them down and they're struggling.
Liv Wood hits the line.
Make it all the way, Brianna.
As England just try to organise, what can they do? Winfield Hill to Cunningham. Cunningham, bit of a step. The defence is there. This is the last. The arm goes up from the referee. England come back towards the centre of the field with a chip over the top from Winfield Hill. Oh, Nichols tries to take it. She's upended somewhere amongst all that. And I think it's a New Zealand ball. I also think that a word has been had to the referee by Racine McGregor. I think we've got potentially a captain's challenge going on here, as the referee still in discussion with Racine McGregor. And yet she's challenging the decision. The referee, Grant Atkins, let's see what he's got to say.
Video referee, match director. We have a captain's challenge. Can we please view all available angles on the contest, please? All players are running for the ball. The players are all contesting the ball. Any momentum is generated by RP Nichols, who goes forward in to catch the ball. So there's no foul play element there. Just need to review now whether the ball goes forward. RP Nichols then knocks the ball on into the English player. A view of all available angles, the challenge will be unsuccessful.
Challenge is unsuccessful. Challenge is unsuccessful. The momentum is all generated from.
So the video referee ruling that New Zealand's challenge of the decision of knock-on was unsuccessful. They lose their captain's challenge for the rest of the game. You get one opportunity. If you get it wrong, that's it. You cannot challenge any more decisions from the referee for the rest of the match. England still have theirs. New Zealand's has gone.
Yeah, what a great kick from Courtney Winfield Hill. We've been just saying, get the ball into her hands for the last, and on the button there into an area we can really force some pressure and see what we can do here. A brilliant attacking opportunity.
As a pensive Craig Richards looks on, Courtney Winfield Hill ships it out wide. England moving the ball, trying to find space at the corner. Good defence though. England keeping it alive. Eventually the tackle comes in. Goldthorpe gets to her feet and plays it quickly, looking for some sort of momentum here. Here's Hoyle, hits that line with some force, gets a few extra metres as a result.
Jonah's been really good today. Go forward's been good, ridden the tackles and landed on her front.
Roach with the ball to Wood. Wood goes up the centre. Met again by some strong Kiwi Ferns defence. This is an opportunity for England. Can they capitalise on it? The dive goes from Atting-Hard. Pushed back though by New Zealand. Jones again gets to her feet. Out and away. Little ball. Finds Cunningham, who can't take it. Tara Stanley has to drop on that to be sure that England at least can hang on to that possession and stop New Zealand breaking away. But what an opportunity going there for England.
Absolutely, I think Georgia Roach has come into her own and she's chancing it here. If Jodie had took that cleanly, it was a 3-on-2 again. I think they've got it on this right-hand edge, England. They've just got to believe in themselves and go at that line. They've definitely got the overload every time.
Jodie Cunningham, 2 black eyes, 1 picked up against New Zealand, and Craig Richards certainly can't believe what he just witnessed. He knows that that was a big chance for England to try and just haul back a little bit for New Zealand, for the scoreline against New Zealand. So England having to defend again. New Zealand certainly in command.
Yeah, again, a big run from Hufanga there.
And it looks like Hufanga just waiting to be peeled away from Courtney Winfield-Hill before she can play the ball. And eventually, I have no idea either. Winfield-Hill was quite reluctant to get to her feet. Whether she was able to or not is a different question.
Stand up, Emily. Tara square. All the way, Shauna. Go two.
So again, Rotter now back at Acton half. New Zealand coming up to the 40-metre line.
Make sure we hold. In the middle all the way. Hold. Go.
The experience of the captain, Rotter, just urging her quicker play the ball from the referee as Clark gets her legs going, trying to break through the England defence. England complete the tackle.
Again, she's been good as well. Big carries, big meters after contact, and they're really struggling to contain her.
Again, Paris Hall going forward. Still looking for the offload and gets it away to Crystal Rotter. Rotter, few extra metres forward.
Behind the line. Behind him, Jodie. Oh,
this is the last for New Zealand. The referee really screaming instructions as Courtney Winfield-Hill in back plays, just getting a bit of attention as the kick comes in. Not taken by Tara Stanley, given back to New Zealand with a 6 again.
Yeah, and they're the errors you really don't want in your end of the field. We need to be catching those and returning the set, and again, they're just putting themselves under pressure.
And New Zealand now playing with pace, attacking that line. Roach brought down, 5 metres out. Quick play the ball to Rotter. England doing well. Rotter's over the line. Is she held up? The referee will send this one to the video referee. The decision on the field is no try. Grant Atkins again with a decision.
Yep. Video referee to match director, we have a live decision of a no try on table 3. Can we please check all available angles for possible held up and whether she maintains possession? The ball is picked up cleanly. She still has possession there, her arms around the ball. Just need to see another angle there to see if that ball's lost. So the ball's being held there. Crystal Rotter loses possession of the ball in the in-goal, which then strikes an England player constituting a knock-on. I'm happy I've viewed all available angles and I have my decision.
So the video referee agreeing with Casey Badger, no try. And it will be England's ball, a knock-on deemed as well in the act of her trying to get that ball down over the try line. So what can England do with this possession now? 20 points to 6 they trail. 15 minutes gone. Greg Richards barking down the instructions from the sidelines to his charges. As time really will be against England unless they can manage something soon. But New Zealand certainly at the moment looking the stronger side, looking the side most likely to progress through to the final on Saturday. Step comes as England try and drive forward. Approaching the halfway line. Jones at Acton half. Winfield-Hill, nice ball to Whitfield. Read though by the New Zealand defence. Every time England look like they're charging onto a ball, anything just closes up by that New Zealand defence as Winfield-Hill again tries to launch attacks for England, but this is the last of the set. New Zealand back, the back 3 back as well, ready for the kick that comes in from Courtney Winfield-Hill, who puts it short over the top, taken by Appy Nichols, and Nichols gains a few metres before the England defence comes in. Work to do then for England. And again, Hufanga up the centre of the field, not held. She gains more metres, taking New Zealand to halfway.
She's been outstanding, actually. You just find yourself just watching her.
New Zealand again driving forward inside the 40 for England. England maybe just starting to look a little tired in defence as Hale takes on that line. Good ball, moving it out to Pooley. Pooley tries to find a way around Roach. The tackle's in there. Beavers also in there with that defence as well.
Yeah, how good's Georgia Hale been as well? Got a hand in absolutely everything, whether it's just a quick distribution, error there. Whether it's just a quick distribution or a wide pass, she's got a hand in everything.
Applause this time from a less anxious looking Paige Travis as England get that ball again. We just see the error coming through. Just a bit of a loose carry as the tackle hit.
Yeah, and that's good contact. Our middles have battled really hard, and you know, it's tough coming up against the Kiwi pack. The big, the mobile, and the battling really hard.
Ricky Henry putting his head in his hands at that error, but it's still his side with the advantage on the scoreboard as England try and roll forward inside the New Zealand half of the field with Holly Dodd on her knees, tries to offload to Tara Stanley, but in there instead of Tara Stanley was Abigail Roach, and New Zealand come back up with the possession.
Yeah, you can see the Holly Dodd goes for that offload. We talked before about push around the ruck, and that's something England need to keep doing. I think it's interesting that Courtney Winfield-Hill is being taken off, so it'd be interesting to see if Jodie Cunningham jumps in as a halfback now.
So New Zealand,
I think Vicky Molly's come back on
with the possession. We hear Courtney Winfield-Hill's off the field because of having an HIA at the moment as well, so we'll get more news on her later. As a long ball is sent out wide to Varcolo, back inside, finds McGregor. McGregor gets around the first line of defence. England having to work hard. This is the last. Can New Zealand stretch their lead further? Go on the short side to Hufanga, who bounces off the defence. Underneath it are the England defenders, and they've done their job.
Great defence there, great, you know, bodies on the line, numbers in to stop Hufanga there, and a try saver, and where they've turned the ball over, it'll be a big ask for England to get out of here.
Well, let's get some latest news from Jenna Brooks with news of Courtney Winfield-Hill.
Yeah, we just saw Courtney Winfield-Hill come off the pitch with, she's having a head injury assessment now, but her game is over, isn't it? Because they've got to be off for at least 15 minutes if she was to pass. She didn't look in a good way either, but hopefully she'll be okay. I'll try and get a little update for you in a moment.
Yeah, she was taken a little late there as well from that kick downfield by the New Zealand defence. So that reshuffle coming then from England, certainly not part of their plan tonight. But at this stage of the game, they need to try whatever they can to try and crack this New Zealand line.
Yeah, they're going to have to chance their arm now. 10 minutes to go. They've got to score 3 times, and they've got to come up with a special play now and get the ball to our strike players.
Cunningham then with the ball operating in the centre of the field, finds Molyneux. Molyneux brought down just short of the 40 on the last. Again, New Zealand have pinned England back well inside their own half of the field as a long kick comes downfield from Georgia Roach. Superb kick. Was that the 40-20? See what the referee gives, but a beautiful kick long downfield. And I think it's just going to be a New Zealand ball. Not quite a 40-20, but an incredible effort coming from Georgia Roach.
Yeah, it was a great kick, that, and I think England need that really tough defence. We've talked about the 1%ers and our middles doing that 1% work. We need that now to restrict New Zealand coming out of their own half.
Greg Richards on the touchline then for England. As we see the captain Emily Rudge goes off and Shona Hoyle back on the field.
Yeah, Emily's had a big game on that left edge. She's had everything thrown at her. You know, Amber Hall, Hufanga, and just, yeah, has had to ride some big women down that right edge, and she's run her blood to water and put her body on the line.
But it's New Zealand still playing at the same level as intensity as they gradually work their way up to in the first half, as we see a knock-on though coming in there from Annette Claudia Nuo-Sala. Bit of respite for England.
Yeah, we need some urgency to this scrum or this turnover. With 8 minutes to go, we need 3 scores. We need to hurry this up.
Just a scruffy play of the ball from Nuo-Sala there. giving that possession to England from the scrum. Again, Paige Travis still going through every kick, every tackle, every run with her teammates. So here we go now with England. This is looking better from Caitlin Beavers round the edges. Can she find a way through? Bartlett's there with McGregor. The tackle is made. Goldthorpe. Ready, out and away to Stanley. Hits the line. 3 defenders come in. And England now pushing towards the 40. Holly Dodd takes it herself. Good 10 metres there made by the England second row on off the bench this evening as Liv Wood now carries it through. Good tackle coming in. New Zealand will be determined not to concede any more points in this one this evening. Cunningham to Vicky Whitfield, hits the line. Again, a good few metres gained again from Whitfield as she tries to keep that momentum going. And this will be the last of the set for England. What can they do with it? The ball goes short from Cunningham to Hardcastle. Hardcastle driven back. Hafanga in there again with the tackle, and that forces the handover.
Yeah, a great defensive set there from New Zealand, but probably one of the best attacking from England. You can see we've talked about the halves running and backing themselves, and that's what Jodie did then. She had a hand in everything, and that's where we need points now. And I think if we get Jodie with her hands on the ball and you've got Vic Witt running on one side and Amy Hardcastle on the other, the points will come.
To New Zealand rolling upfield. 7 minutes remaining in this game. New Zealand leading by 20 points to 6. Craig Richards on the touchline, still barking instructions for his players. But you can't help but feel that this is just slipping away from England's grasp, and New Zealand go rolling through again inside the England half of the field.
Yeah, again, I think they've just, a lot of the occasions, they've just lost that ruck battle. They've, you know, they're getting numbers in, they're trying everything they've got, they're putting everything into the tackles, but the Kiwis have just been too strong in this ruck and are getting on the front foot most of the time, and England have just struggled to contain them this game.
The New Zealand forwards have done a great job all evening as the kick comes high from Racine McGregor, taken well by Leah Burke for England, but again the defence in on her very quickly from New Zealand. And England again with that work to do to just get outside of their own 40. Good scoop forward from Goldthorpe. And now it's Stanley in the centre of the field. Gains 10 metres or so for her side. Emily Rudge, the captain, on the touchline. As we see Beavers getting more involved again, going again, just brought down short of that halfway line. Roach. This is the last of the set for England. It goes back, finds Stanley. Kick upfield. And taken safely by Nichols. And Nichols is brought down.
She's impressive. She's had an outstanding World Cup and also got a baby in camp with her as well. I think the mothers, and they're trying to deal with a normal life and play at a World Cup, and for me she has been an outstanding player for New Zealand.
So New Zealand on the roll going forward. We have got 5 minutes remaining in this game. Andrew and Faye, probably time to say now who your Kazoo player of the match is.
Yeah, you know, they've run a bit riot on that right hand, haven't they? Amber Home, Ellie Hafanga, Abby Nichols has been unreal at the back, and I think our player of the match goes to our Kazoo player of the match goes to Hafanga. She's absolutely run right on that right edge, set up a couple of New Zealand's try, and has just been a real problem all night.
Hafanga then with the try, the first try of the evening for New Zealand, her third try of the World Cup, her third try in New Zealand colours, having only made a debut a couple of weeks back against Cook Islands in these group stages of this competition. She's been absolutely devastating this evening in that centre position. But it's England now with the ball again. Caitlin Beavers, we're seeing the wingers coming a little bit more, just trying to get a bit more involved in this game. I don't know whether they're trying to throw a bit more fresh legs down the centre. I'm not entirely certain, as Holly Dodd goes forward, manages the offload as well to Tara Stanley, who gains another few metres forward as well. That's something we've not seen from England, the offload game maybe that Holly Dodd has just brought recently.
Yeah, I think Dodd's been really good when she's come on. She's offered a bit more pace and a bit more dynamic. But New Zealand have dealt with this individually very well, and yeah, they've, you know, credit to their defence as to why we haven't been able to get the ball out and probably play a little bit more like we'd like to.
Afanga getting around the first 2 or 3 attempts of tackles. Amy Hardcastle eventually combining with Molyneux to make sure she can't get any further. So New Zealand trying to bring play outside of their own 20. Scruffy played the ball. What will the referee give? A knock on? There was an appeal there, I think, for interference. But the captain's challenge has been lost by New Zealand. They've got to go with the decision given by Casey Badger. We just see again how Bartlett clearly just didn't properly get to her feet before she tried to play that.
No, and great work for Holly Dodd there. They talked about slowing the New Zealand ruck down, and that's what she's done since she's come on. And it comes when New Zealand are trying to get up, and then the error comes. But Holly Dodd there has caused a lot of problems for New Zealand.
So England going on the short side from the scrum to Caitlin Beavers.
Surrender! Stand up! Go, 1, take
Jones.
Madison!
It's got that support again. It's Wood with the carry into the defensive line.
Crystal, straight out! Hold your line! Hold!
Numbers out towards the left for England as Holly Dodd goes forward and takes it herself. A lively run from the 19-year-old, the young player of the year in the Women's Super League. And that's a scruffy pass going back, and it's hacked on down as well, and it's Afanga that's there. It's a foot race to see who'll get that possession. England drop on it, and they've got work to do, but Fran Goldthorpe sees space. New Zealand get back well, complete that tackle, but England have a chance to build again with a fresh set of 6. Going forward, trying to find the gaps down the centres. Burke gets to her feet.
Great there from Fran Goldthorpe. I think we would have probably just liked to see Fran in a little bit more space tonight, but...
And a drive through coming there from England again. Still pushing that line in the final throws of this game. They've not given up on this yet. Here's Whitfield. Big hit coming in on Whitfield from Hill Moana. Superb defence from New Zealand. And now it's Roach stepping off one foot, driving with the other. Rotter's in there with the tackle.
Last tackle, Crystal!
This is the last for England. Can they get what would just be a consolation try for them in these closing seconds of the semi-final? Jones from Atsing half. Away to Cunningham. Fast hands. Can't be taken by Holly Dodd. Dropped on by Paige McGregor. And that certainly sees England's hopes disappear of reaching the final as New Zealand drive through. They've taken control of this game in this second half as a set restart is awarded. The coach Ricky Henry looking on. Good work still though by England, driving back, but the hooter goes, bringing this semi-final to an end, and it will be New Zealand that join Australia in the final at Old Trafford on Saturday. Hugs given from Ricky Henry, the New Zealand coach. Devastation for Liv Wood of England and her teammates. England still to reach their first ever World Cup final. New Zealand's run of never missing one continues. Ricky Henry coming down the steps to join his players. As here it has finished. England 6, New Zealand 20.